Chechnya over the weekend. Chechnya rounded up 100 suspected gay men, and it's reported that 3 of them have been killed. And this is according to a Russian newspaper, as reported by The Guardian. And according to human rights activists, authorities in the Russian Republic of Chechnya have launched an anti-gay campaign that has led authorities to rounding up dozens of men suspected of being homosexual. According to the newspaper, there was more than 100 have been detained, and of those 100, 3 have been killed. This goes back to what we were discussing earlier, the possibility of the terrorist attack in St. Petersburg being launched or being connected from Chechnya, and then the immediate reaction that this is connected to the Islamic community in Chechnya. But there is a very conservative strand of thought that exists in Chechnya, such that men who are gay cannot even confide in their closest friends. In many cases, they won't even tell their own family members. And family members who find out, at least according to this one article, that find out about their family member being gay, it's a level of shame that not only affects the individual person, but ostensibly affects the entire family. This is how conservative of a community Chechnya is, the religious aspect, the religious community in Chechnya. And as a part of this, in the protest, there was a march over the weekend. 100 of the protesters have been arrested, and so far 3 have been killed. There's really not much recourse because of how draconian the policies are with regard to the LGBTQ community. And it offers a very interesting tension, not perspective, but tension in our conversation here, because Russia is reporting on this, coming from some Russia media outlets, and pointing to this as an example of the problematic nature of extreme Islamic extremism. But in the same breath, Russia itself has recently passed a law that says that that there's a law against LGBTQ or gay propaganda being given to young people. They have very draconian laws, and not just laws, but also the entire culture with regard to the gay community in Russia. So it's not as though Russia is recognizing or speaking to this issue because of some types of sympathy and solidarity with the LGBTQ community. It seems to be an extension of their Islamophobia that is also a part of the Russian community. But regardless of the motivations, regardless of the political narrative, the fact is 100 people have been arrested for being suspected as being gay. And of those 100, 3 people have been killed. I have to pause on this because we take for granted some of our arguments here in the United States. And I do believe, I'm not saying this just to push my political agenda, of which I do have one, but I do believe, and I actually heard out of the mouths of some religious extremists here in the United States, that they would treat homosexuality here in the United States the same way, right? The Pulse nightclub killing was an act of God because they were gay, right? Even in the midst of those extremes that exist here in the United States, we take for granted sometimes that we're at least not here at this point in our juncture. Historically, we're not where we need to be, but there's not, we really do take it for granted, some of the freedoms that we have here. This is not to say that it's a panacea. This is not to say that we're done working. Michelangelo Signorelli wrote a book It's not over yet. Talking about how victories can sometimes lull us to sleep. Victories in the LGBTQ community makes them feel like the fight is over, but the fight is not over yet. I get that, but then we take a step back and see what the real challenges across the globe are with regard to the LGBTQ community, in regard to human rights in general. We're not where we need to be, but I am very grateful that we are not in a place where 100 people could be arrested, 3 of them killed, with little to no recourse, because this is the nature of your government. I can think of times historically in the United States where this would be the case. And I'm not afraid to say that I'm grateful this is not where we are.